appreciate it. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. I mean, it's a little cold up here in Northeast Ohio, but there's a reason why I have like not 9 layers, but I'm layered up good enough when I'm in the house. I did some errands
There it
today, and I
is.
was like, and I said, "Whoa, I will not be outside all day today. Nope, not me."
I don't blame you. If I could have avoided it, I'd have been inside too. I've been asleep all day.
Nah, I understand that. Some days, looks like real shameless plug. I picked up another podcast, the Wellness Check Wednesday podcast, and we talked about loneliness. I'm like, look, there's sometimes I need to be around people, and sometimes I just want to be left the hell alone. I'm not gonna sit here and lie
It's
to you.
fair.
So
It's
yeah,
fair. Well, see, so right now I want to kind of introduce everybody to who you are. So we're kind of jumping
okay.
the gun real quick with the podcast. So let's kind of take it one step at a time, okay?
I got you. I got you.
Okay.
Jumping the gun. I'll be excited. You know how that is.
I ain't mad at it. I'm excited too. So funny story.
Mm.
Give a little bit of backstory about you and I. Um,
Uh,
for those of you who do not know, we have a little high school history. This is one of my favorite classmates in high school.
of all time,
And we had biology together.
dissecting pigs and
Throwing them out the window.
throwing them out the window.
It
Open
wasn't
window.
us. We didn't do it. We just know people who did it.
No. Yeah, and and I think the statute of limitations has yet since expired, so we ain't got to worry about that though.
Yeah,
Half
no.
those people don't care or don't give a damn anymore. So
There it
yeah,
is.
we were in biology class handling dead animal carcasses and trying not to throw up in our mouth at the same time.
Yes.
I'm surprised that my stomach is as strong as it was because people are like, Ed, there's a lot of stuff bother you. I'm like, nah, I dissected a baby pig in biology class, so
I mean,
I
you can't get
guess.
much worse than that. Especially, I'm glad at that point in time in our lives, PETA wasn't a big thing. So I think we're good.
Yeah, yeah, because you know how it is. You can't do nothing now in 2024. You can't do
Mm-mm.
nothing, nothing.
And if you try it, I mean, it's not much you can get away with. So definitely understand that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So aside from being in high school together, biology class together, we've got some of the similar circles. Um, I've got family from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, as do you.
Yep, families in the same area, that same
Hmm.
little concentrated area in Horry County. And a little quick story. I hope I'm not jumping the gun.
You're good.
I know just about everything there almost is about my mom's side of the family, but I'm like every year that passes by, I'm always learning something new. I'm like, oh damn, okay, so we can here and we can there. I'm like, all right, cool. That was so like every year I'm learning something new. But my dad's side of the family, like I now live in Ohio, and I thought my last name Vereen was in that little concentrated area of Horry County, South Carolina. No, Vegas, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Detroit. I'm like Connecticut, and I'm like, oh, we I'm like, damn, daddy, we everywhere, everywhere. I'm like, I kind of wish he was here so he could tell me what was going on, but you just find out every day or every other day. You always winding out finding out something. I'm looking at this one particular cousin of mine, and I'm looking at her dad's picture, and I'm looking at my dad's picture, and I'm like, yeah, I see it. Okay, I get it.
That's
Some
funny.
things you can yeah, some things you can look and be like, oh, it ain't what you think it is. But I'm looking at that picture, I'm like, yeah, that's it
It
right
might
there.
be what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So that being stated, I like going into, being from certain areas. My last guest, we did talk a little bit about being from South Carolina. Um, if you don't
Mhm.
mind, can you kind of, give us a little bit of your background as far as what was it like for you growing up in Horry County?
All right, so I grew up with older parents. Um, my dad passed away when I was 12, and he was 75 years old, and my mom had me when she was 40. So I still have like a lot of old school. What's what I'm looking for? I still have like a lot of old school ways instilled in me,
Hmm.
but I try not to act old. Um, it was interesting growing up. Um, I was the last of maybe five kids. Yeah, last of five kids. Well, actually, no, I'm lying. I don't even know how many brothers and sisters I got. Well, how about this? Okay, so my daddy had three boys before he met my mom. So that's three right there. And then my mom had a son before she met my dad. So there's four. And then there's one, two, and then I have another sister. I have a sister and another brother, and there's me. So that's about seven, roughly seven, if my math's not off. So that's seven. So I'm pretty much the last of seven, the last of seven. And by the time I came along, everybody was grown, out the house, just doing their own thing. So it was just me, my mom, and my dad there. I mean, I grew up spending a lot of time with my dad. He would take me to the barbershop where he would get haircuts, and I would see like the banter between the old men and everything, and how funny and entertaining it was. But the thing about it was, me being that little, I didn't understand it at the time. But now, the older I got, the more I look back at it, I'm like, wow, that's okay. I'm like, that's the barbershop. That's where you go to talk your stuff. You know, that's where you go to do your thing, whatever. And so just looking at that, and then my mom, she loved the flowers, she loved the plants, she loved the gardens. She was a green thumb. I have yet to see if I have that green thumb yet, but I might get like a little Venus flytrap or something like that one day to do something. So see
Got to
how,
start somewhere.
yeah, to make sure I don't kill that. So just growing up, it was pretty good. I mean, me and my daddy, we hung out and wherever he could because he had health issues. And I mean, we would, get our haircuts, and then he would go holler at his buddies at the local gas station. It was called the Pantry. I forgot what it's called now. And then the BP was called something else. And so, we would go from a couple stores and hang out with his buddies. And then he had another buddy stay across the street. And so we would hang out with them and talk a little bit. And then we'd go to the house and watch wrestling all day. And that's why I'm such a huge wrestling fan now, because of him.
Hmm.
So me and him hung out a lot, and my mom wanted to go to the grocery store. I was in the car going to the grocery store with her and doing things with her too. And so I really did a lot with my parents growing up. The only sad thing about it was when I started playing football. That was around the time my daddy, was really sick at the time he had cancer. So I just really wish he could have been around for me playing football. But my mom, she came to a few games and everything. And so as far as growing up, I mean, Christmases were cool, birthdays were cool. Hindsight 2020, I have zero complaints about how I grew up. At the time, like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But um, comparison is a thief of joy. So I was like, well, just be happy and grateful for what I have. And my parents, they did the best they could, and I love them for it. I can say that.
Oh, that's awesome. I know nowadays it's really hard to kind of look at the past and have that same mindset that you've actually adopted with your family. You
Mm,
got a lot of families now that are broken, divided. I don't want to talk to you because you're disrespectful, or you're not gonna respect
mm,
me. And you know what's going on in today's
yeah.
world. How does that? What's your outlook on that type of stuff in all due reality, based on how you've come up, what you've seen, what you've experienced, and then looking at today's world? Like, we see the differences, but how does that correlate to you? How does that work for you?
I look at it as when you know better, you do better. Also, I look at it from another spectrum as to where it's like there must be a reason for me being a nephew to have a beef with my uncle. You see what I'm saying? Like I could easily be mad at a lot of people, especially when my dad passed away, because I just felt like there wasn't I'm not spending too much information, but it's the truth. I felt like I didn't have the adequate male support after my father, because my mom never remarried, she never dated, and she was single to the day she left this earth. So I could be mad about it. And I remember I told, a person I was with at the time, like, maybe I should go home and start turning over rocks. And they was like, you sure you want to do that? Nope. So I just think that there are reasons why family members don't talk, and the validity of those reasons, it's really based upon the action that was done from one person to another for them to cause this whole rift. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to do this. If he's over there, I ain't come over there. She over there, I ain't going there. There has to be a backstory behind it because there's three sides to every story. Side one, side two, and then the third side, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. So I don't want to say it's tricky. I just believe that for every action, there's a reaction.
I
Be it if
agree.
something that if it was something that somebody said, something that somebody did. Like I've heard so many stories about so many families about people not getting along, and you know because somebody said something or somebody disagreed with something. Like I've heard a lot, and I'm over here like, oh, okay, so it just ain't it happens in every family. So I just think that if you can try to be an adult and mend fences, I would recommend you do that, but it would have to be from a place where, okay, I'm tired of the way things are. And then the other party is like, I'm tired of the way things are. Hey, let's meet at McDonald's for a cheeseburger and let's just have a conversation. And then that's where you start to bridge that gap to fit. Well, I never, and see, sometimes it's a classic case of, well, I never knew I never knew you felt like that. Well, I never knew what you felt like that. It's just, I mean, it's sad to see families split up like that because, like, when one thing I learned, like when my mom passed away, the holidays are different. It was incredibly different. Like that first Thanksgiving she passed away, we didn't do anything. But one of my mom's last wishes, she said, "Look, y'all have got to keep the tradition going. What we do on Thursday, what we do on Friday, y'all have got to keep it going." And so we honor her wishes. And so it's just like I said, if there's a point between family members where you can mend some fences, I would highly recommend you do it. And if there's a point where you can't mend any fences, all right, you just like, what, I gave it my all, I gave it the good old college try. Now I got to go on about my business.
That's fair. I
Because think
know.
about it is like you think about it is like you can't want something more than what somebody else's want. They got to meet you at the
Yeah.
middle. They got to meet you in the middle. Oh, like, okay, I want to resolve this resolution. I want to resolve this resolution. Let's get together and figure out how to resolve this. By some, sometimes it's a misunderstanding, miscommunication, and sometimes we sit down and talk. You can hash it out. Some people can be rational, and then some people can be irrational. But it's all about the mindset and the want and desire of the person. But all right, let's go ahead and squash the beat. Let's go ahead and get past this, and and then you just go from there.
Mm.
I know that was a long-winded response,
It
but
was good.
yeah.
It was good. It really made me think about even with my family going through things like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think me and you have talked enough, so you get where I'm coming from with a lot of stuff. I don't
Mm-hmm.
talk too much of my family on mom or dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that. On my mom's side, I am the oldest grandchild, which kind of puts me in the category of being looked at as like the youngest child from my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
I have an uncle, which you know him very well, that is a year
Yeah.
older than me.
Yeah, we went to school
And
together. All of us went to school
yes,
together. Yeah,
we did.
yeah, all of us went to school together.
But it's one of those things where being able to enjoy grandma and grandpa in the light of these are my grandparents, I never really
Mm,
got that grandchild treatment from them, and it was always the baby girl. So when
mm,
it comes to aunts, uncles, and everything of that nature, typically as a niece, I don't really get into it like that. But because of the dynamics, I'm not really looked at as niece. I'm looked at as sis, little sis.
right.
So when there's issues in the family, it's not just aunt, uncle, and them. It's we're siblings. We got to figure
Yeah.
this out. What's going on?
Es-
Who did what?
Especially when you grow up close like that, because I got a handful of nieces and nephews. We're like 5, 6, 7, 8 years apart, and two. I think my closest. Let me see. There's 10. There's a. Let me see. My closest niece is 10, and then my closest nephew is maybe like two and a half, 3.
Mm,
And I look at them in a light, like you said, more like siblings as opposed to like, hey, you're my nephew, you're my niece. And then when I tell people, oh, that's my niece, I didn't know. Oh, that's my nephew. Oh, I didn't know. yeah, I just like is I'm not gonna lie to you. I really don't treat my nieces and nephews like nieces and nephews, except for them babies, them young ones. Yeah, they are nieces and nephews. But the other ones, I feel like we're more contemporaries. We're more peers. We're at the same stage in life where we can if we talk about this, there's no such thing as damn that dude old. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, or uh he too young. I don't get that. I don't, he old ass. I don't know what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's it's
Right.
it's less of that. Yeah,
It's more so you guys can kind of relate to whatever.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that makes it. I know that does make it a lot easier. With my uncles and aunts on that side, like I said, I've got an uncle that's a year older than me. The next one is 5 years older. No, I think he's 5 years. I don't know. He's a little bit older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And then my aunt, who is give or take about 8, 9 years older than me, she always
Mm-hmm.
looks at me and my brother as her babies because she was always the one babysitting. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like even now our relationship, we're in a really good place. You know, things have transpired in the family
Mm-hmm.
where we bumped heads. Everybody has bumped heads. We've gone through that. But even to this day, she says, "Yeah, girl, you cussed me out. I did not do that. I did not
Yeah.
cuss her out." But that's like what you were talking about having those two sides and saying, you know what, I want to fix it. You want to fix it. Let's fix it. There has to be a common ground when it comes to family and setting those boundaries and
Mm-hmm.
respecting each other's boundaries and saying, hey, look, this is where you messed up. I didn't appreciate this. This is where you hurt me at. I took this that way. And being able to have those adult conversations with other adults in your families really kind of keeps people closer together because in all due reality, you know, you've experienced loss in family. I've experienced loss in family. We're only getting older. You know, right now, as it is, I'm thankful that I still have a set of grandparents on my mom's side. I've
Mm-hmm.
got both of my grandparents still living here. But on my dad's side, I have no grandmother, no grandfather. So
Mm-hmm.
now on that side, everything is just so scattered. I've literally lost all my aunts and uncles except for I think I've got two aunts left and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. All my aunts and uncles are gone. So now it's like, well, what do we do as far as the family dynamics with my cousins and my cousins having kids and some of their kids getting ready to have kids or going to college or doing career driven things? Where
Mm-hmm.
is the family orientation of family dynamics at this point in time now? And that's where, like you said, it's got to be a point where the adults have to come together and say, hey, this is what we want. This is what we need to do.
Yeah, like you said, the adults have to adults is kind of like, hey, look, because because you're setting the standard for the next generation of kids, and the kids
Hmm.
see aunt and uncle fighting, they're gonna think it's cool for the cousins to fight, and then it's a trickle down effect that does nothing but can it just splits families apart, and it's a bad look. It's just a bad look. So I tell anybody, I said, if you got a family member, they willing to hear you out and they hear you to talk, willing to talk. If you can do, if they want to talk, and if you want to talk, go ahead and do it. It's just a classic case of you can't force it. You have to do it whenever you're ready. If you feel you're ready, okay, well, let's go ahead and have this conversation. So it's just, especially when it comes to the black family, there's all like, the African American family, there's all kind of, you know, pardon my French, but it's all kind of shit going on.
There is.
You know, yeah, it's all kind of shit going on, and then it gets to, I mean, I heard stories from who got left out of the will to land and to all this stuff. But if you look at it, if you really, really look at it, we can't take that money when we die. That's why when you have your life insurance, that's why you got your beneficiaries, so they can be in a good place. Also, that land, that's why you go ahead and take care of that your will and testament and everything. So that way, when you leave, because here's what a lot of people don't know. I don't know if don't know if they know this, but like when it comes to the money, if no one's entitled to the money, then it goes. I think if I'm mistaken, I think it goes to the state
Hmm.
or wherever else. And then all them times, life insurance and all the stuff you're paying for, you want to kick it back out to your family, but you didn't do your paperwork right. Now it's going to, the state and the
Yep.
land. If you don't pay the property taxes, they'll put up in the paper, and then your ass got to get up out of there. That's why I'm real. That's why I advocate by telling black folks, us, get your affairs in order. Get your will written out, get your life insurance, get all that together. Because, like I said, once again, I've heard so many stories about people having a hard time just burying their loved ones because they didn't have any life insurance.
Yeah.
They didn't have life insurance. And a quick thing, real quick, like like from like I started paying my life insurance, my own life insurance, when I was like in my mid 30s because every other week I send mom some money. I send mom some money. I send mom some money. But when it got to the point to where she couldn't take care of it no more, they signed it over to me, and I paid it. Paid my own life insurance ever since. And so that is something you have got to have because when you pass away and your affairs ain't going to, you want to you think you're fighting now. Wait till somebody close their eyes. You'll see.
I already know. Figure like this.
Mm.
The reality hasn't set in with a lot of people when it comes to that side of things, funerals.
Yeah.
Prime example.
Mm.
How many funerals have you gone to, or how many funerals were you preparing to go to, where they had to have a GoFundMe or a fish fry or selling plates
Yeah.
because they didn't have
Yeah.
anything in order? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, when do we wake up as a people and say, you know what, get it together? It's even
Oh.
down to prime example. If you have this job, a lot of people complain about, oh, I'm working for this and I'm working for that. But when in all due reality, I stress this at my job with all of the associates that I work with. You guys have to understand what that company can do for you and use that
Mm-hmm.
for your benefit. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, they don't have no benefits. Yes, they do. You just have to
Yeah.
be willing to invest in yourself. My thing is this: anybody going to a job, once you get on that interview, the first thing you want to do is get the best pay that you can possibly get. You're selling yourself. So my thing is this:
Mm.
if you're going to sell yourself to this company for a certain amount per hour, why not reinvest some of that money that you're selling yourself for? Reinvest that into making sure that you and your family is taken care of.
Yeah.
I've got my life insurance. I've got a life insurance policy set up right now with for me.
Mm.
I've got short term and long term disability set up, and I've got my beneficiary set up. So that way, if
Mm-hmm.
anything were to happen to me, I know that my family's good. My kids are going to be okay. But a lot of people don't think about that kind of stuff when they're looking at a job. If you're
Mm-mm.
not going to go through the jobs way, then you got to figure out, like, find out what you need to do. They're so stuck
That
on food stamps, Medicaid, and everything else, but you're not taking care of anything for in the event. I don't understand
mm-mm.
that.
Man, just like me, not telling too much of my business, but between my jobs, um, one requires me to work X amount of hours to get said benefits. I don't, and so it's kind of like I got to get it on my own, and I would rather have it on my own and not have to use it as opposed to you know not having it and then slice my finger open. I got to go to the hospital. There's $1,000. At least it knocks some of it off. It's just yeah, man. As people like, look, oh, we gotta get a fish fry. We gotta get this. We gotta get that. Because I remember, once again, trying my best not to tell. I'm telling stories of actual events, but I'm protecting the people because they need to be protected. Somebody hopped in my inbox, was like, "Hey, can you post this?" And I think it was a situation as to where someone didn't have any life insurance. I'm like, look, first of all, at least say, "Hey, how you doing?" before you start barking orders and
That would be
everything.
nice.
Well, what? And they got mad. Excuse me. Da 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 da. Look, my cutoff game. I don't call my cutoff game strong, but I call my cutoff game necessary. When people just start doing too much and just start moving erratically, and it's kind of like, nah, I
Yeah.
can't believe cool. I can't believe you did that. Hey, look, well, I can't believe you approached me the way you approached me. Well, we'll get it by God's grace. I'm praying for you. That's all I got, man. I like to be taught to a certain way. If you come at me crazy, well, I'm not about to do that. No.
And that goes hand in hand with us what I said earlier about setting boundaries. Like adults,
Yeah.
we gotta set boundaries. It's not saying, oh, you're gonna respect me, you're gonna do this for me, and I'm not gonna
Mm,
reciprocate it. No. If you want me to treat you a certain way and you want my response to be a certain way, then you gotta think about the way that you're coming at me. Because what I'm not about to do, I say it all the time. I'm not in the business of re-raising any grown individuals. You're either going to respect it or you're not. And if you're not going to respect it, then don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Leave me where I'm at so I can focus on what I've got to do. If you need me,
Yeah.
that's different. But at the same time, don't need me and then come at me like I'm supposed to do it. No. You need to come at
Mm.
me like you've got some sense. And that's all it is.
I'm saying if the person would have been like, "Hey, cool, how you doing?" Da 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 da. Da. All right, man, cool, no problem. Hey, by the way, since we're talking, da 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 da, then I would have been more apt to be like, "Okay, well, maybe I can help you." But it was just link in my DMs, post on such and such. But see, the fun thing about it is this person didn't know that I already saw this. I already saw this, but the fact that you kind of just put it in there, didn't really give me any in-depth detail, didn't even say, "Hey, how you doing?" I guess is what I get from being a Southerner. You see somebody, you speak to them, "Hey, how you doing?" And then you go into what you want or what you want to say after that, as
That's
opposed to
fair.
just as opposed to just buy this cup with this water in it. No, I'm good. I got cups at the house. Why would I want to buy your cup with your water in it? But Ed, you a
Listen,
snob. I'm like, no, it's just common courtesy and knowing how to talk to people. That's all.
I think that's where a lot of people have gone so far away from addressing and talking to people. Like it's gotten to the point now in society in general. I work retail, and when I
Mm.
tell you, I just had a situation a couple of nights ago where, and it's always our people
Oh, gotta
that
love
do
that.
the most. I had a guy come in, it's two guys and a young lady. The first guy, older guy, way older, he's asking me about hand towels. We're a grocery store, we don't sell hand towels. He's like asking me where the hand towels are at. So I'm stuck for a second. I'm like, okay, hand towels. What could be similar to a hand towel that we would remotely have in a grocery store? So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, dishcloths, paper towels. I said, yeah, paper towels. I said, okay. Told him what aisle it's on. So he sent the girl to go get it. Okay. Mind you, when he sent the girl that was with him to go get it, he told her again, go on. She said it's on aisle 10 for the hand towels. And she looking just as confused as I am, but she went. They ain't say nothing, ain't argue. So it left me with two gentlemen. So again, the older guy talking about the hand towels, and then another guy asking me about some cigarettes. He wanted Newports. We were out. Well, do you have Cools? I was like, yes, I have Cools. Give me one moment because I was in the process of I was already scanning his items. He asked me for those cigarettes about four times as I'm scanning,
Bruh, bruh.
and I finally had to look up at him and tell him I heard you. Give me a moment. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. Okay, cool. Now that we're on the same page, let me finish what I'm doing, and then I'll go get the cigarettes. By that time, the girl comes back and she brings back these wipes. I don't know where she got them from. They're just wipes, antibacterial wipes or something. He
Mm.
looks at her and is like, "Not these. These ain't the hand towels that I'm looking for." And she was like, "Well, what hand towels are you looking for?" I was like, "Paper towels, sweetheart." She's like, "Oh, okay." He didn't say that. He said hand towels.
Mm.
Again, miscommunication. So I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
right
She
there.
went
Yep.
back to go get the paper towels. At this time, I went and grabbed the cigarettes, scanned those, and the guy's looking at the total. The older guy is like, "Oh my God, it's $39. Why is it this much?" Da 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 da. Well, the cigarettes didn't help because your total was 31 before the cigarettes. After I scanned the
Did he
cigarettes with text, it's 39. Now what?
did he buy a carton or a single pack?
Just a single pack.
Yeah, you know cigarettes is expensive, man.
Not just that, but I'm like, you got other stuff up here. Like, it's a
Hey,
grocery store.
this ain't 1996.
It's not.
And
And that's the thing that people don't understand.
that's another thing tripped me out. Somebody was at my job the other day and was inquiring about menu. I remember sometimes I would tell these. I'm gonna tell you two stories. Number one, old people and taxes, right? I understand at a certain age you get tax exempt, but there are some places that don't honor that.
Mm-mm.
And as you get up in age, you need to know what honor these tax exemptions and what don't. Now I know when you have to pay like your property taxes and everything, you get an exemption. You have to pay like $20 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one lady, she was all like, I have to get this food and da 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 da, and I have to pay taxes. I said, well, yes, ma'am. In the state of Ohio, if you If you sit in that seat and order food and eat and dine, you gotta pay taxes. Why? Ma'am, when you sit in that seat, that's the state law. You have to pay the taxes. Now, if you want to go food, you don't have to pay those taxes. Why? I don't want to pay tax. You have a nice day. Because by that time, I cashed her out, and it's just like I look. Call your politicians, call your city councilmen. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just here
None.
to push product until you have a happy day, and see you about your damn way. That's all
That's
I'm here to
it.
do.
And I
Yeah,
think a lot of people get me construed, they misconstrued because they look at me at work and they're like, "Well, you're customer service manager, and I've done this and I've done that, and your people have done this." And I'm like, "Listen, I had to explain to this one lady one day because she comes in every day that I see her to complain about one of my associates. Oh, she
mm,
doesn't like me. Oh, well, she does this and she does that and she does that and she does this." And I had to explain to her. I was like, "Sweetheart, listen, I need you guys as consumers to understand we are not robots. We are human
no,
beings. Okay. So when you guys come in here and give us that other side of you that you wouldn't dare give your grandmama, you expect us to just take that lane down? Like, no, we're humans." I was like, "And I'm not going to be mistreated because you're having a bad day. That is not fair to me. Because
mm-mm,
you wouldn't dare let me mistreat you because I'm having a bad day. So
yeah.
I need that to be
I'd hear about
reciprocated."
it. Yeah, yeah,
And it's just, I literally had to tell her, I was like, "Look, you don't have to be here when she's here. She's only here like 2 days a week. But you just keep picking the same 2 days that she's here. Either come earlier or come on another day when you know she's not here. Plain and simple. But as
yeah,
far as you coming to me complaining every day that, oh, she doesn't like me, I don't care. Quite frankly, don't care. You come in here, get your stuff, and get out. It doesn't matter
yeah.
who likes you or who doesn't. Stop trying to make
Put your
yourself likable or stop trying to make friends in a grocery store.
put your earbuds in.
Or do like everybody else does when they come to the grocery store and sit on the phone the whole time you're in the store."
Yeah, put your earbuds in. Do something that just go just. The thing about it is people like stuff like that. I'm beginning to believe that people love and thrive off of stuff like that
They do.
because okay, if 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 I go somewhere, I claim they treat me a certain way, but I don't tell people why. What I'm doing is like this: action, reaction. If you treat
Uh,
someone a certain way, they're gonna give it back to you. Because some people got the wherewithal. Okay, well I'm gonna just ain't no water off a duck's back. Other people, nah, what's that? What's that? Damn this job. What you want to do? So you just got to be mindful of when you do stuff like that. That's why I go to the store. I'm smiling. Hey, how you doing, ma'am? Take your time, no rush. Hey, do what you got to do, ma'am. You can go ahead. I'm taking as many breaks as I can today. Go and do your thing. I ain't got time. I'm so easy damn going because I don't get too wrapped up in that mess. Like, look, if that's what you want today, goodbye, good night. I'm going this way. Well, why are you
I
walking
feel the
away?
same way.
Tired of your mouth. Tired of your mouth. That's why I'm tired of your damn mouth. Mm-mm,
I feel the same way. I mean, when I'm at work, there's times when I really have to walk away from people.
mm,
Even down to coworkers. I was brought in on a conversation with the assistant store manager and one of my associates.
mm,
And the whole time it's just like you are going on and on and on and on and on about me, 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 and you're bringing up stuff that's not relevant to the job. So, after sitting there as a member of management and you are a new associate, you're calling me every name except what my name is. And I looked at the assistant store manager. I said, "Now at this point, I'm respectfully removing myself from this conversation because I'm not about to sit here and keep being talked to and respond or talked to or talked at the way that this man is doing this." I was like, "This boy, I'm sorry.
mm,
You're not about to keep calling me every name except my name. You know who my name
mm.
is, and you're going to call me everything but that. And you think I'm about to sit
Yeah.
here and take it? No. Y'all sit
Nah,
here
I'm
and
out.
figure out what his problem is. I'm going because I've got work to do, and I don't have time to sit in here and babysit no grown man's feelings. I don't." So I went
Mm-mm,
back to work. After that, I don't I don't have much. I'm not going to keep putting that much energy into other people that want you to pay me attention. Look at me, do for me, make me happy, but you're not making me happy. I don't care. I've literally like
mm-mm.
I've had so many with the holidays and everything gone. Thank God. I've
Oh,
had so much of a headache. And it's just like I need to take some time off because you guys are you're draining. And it's like even with the team that I'm building, the team that I have, I'm like, I'm trying to get you guys to a point where you're self sufficient. Does not
Mm.
make any sense that as a grown adult, you don't have the know how to get things done. It's like you're always looking, Ashley, what do you think? Ashley, can I? Ashley, can you? Ashley, 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 Ashley.
Figure it out.
That's what I asked them. Like, what did you do to try to figure out what to do? Did you try to figure it out? No? Okay, you just called me and asked me how to fix it. Figure it out.
my that reminds me of my mother. She used one of her many jobs she used to work at. She's one of the best to do what she does. And let's just say it was a grocery store that served food. Um, they would rant and rave over her cooking. Her 2 days off, it would be just bad. It would just be absolutely bad. And then they would be like, and then when she would come back, and they'd be like, "We sure are glad you come back because we went and had the cornbread. It was dry. The rice was tough. The meat was rubbery. It just didn't taste good. Like that, we love when we see you in the kitchen. We know the food gonna be good. And like my
Hmm.
mama said, and like my mom said, I've always told them what to do. Something that my mom used to tell them all the time that she never told me. What do you do when I'm not here? What do you do when I'm not here? How do you go about conducting business and make sure the food is prepared to the expectations when I'm here? What do you do when I'm here? I mean, what do you do? What do you do when I'm not here? What are you going to do? I used that years ago at my one job because I was the guy that was singing Happy Birthday when I used to work at Joe's Crab Shack. Joe's Crab Shack is a big ass party, having fun
Hmm.
and everything. A lot of servers didn't like singing Happy Birthday, so I would charge that ass. I really would because here it is. I would charge them five, and it went down like this: $2 for the service fee and $3 from the couple dollars I'm gonna miss from being out of my section to come over here to sing happy birthday to you. Because I saw people get mad. I said, well, I got to make this money back somehow. And so I told this one girl, she's like, "Can you sing birthdays?" I was like, $5. She laughed at me. I was like, well, I guess you're gonna have to figure it out. I was like, I don't know. I was like, well, and then I looked around. I was like, what are y'all doing? I'm not here. Everybody sitting there looking like this. I'm saying, like, what are you doing? I'm not here. So that's that.
Well,
People
they're
gonna be
figuring
people.
it out this week because I'm on vacation. So
Like they gonna have to. I mean, yeah, they're gonna have to.
I got text messages from my store manager about me printing the schedule out. It needs to be printed out by Thursday at 12. Sweetheart, I've been on vacation since yesterday.
Once again, there are those boundaries. Um, I'm glad you brought that up. There are those boundaries. Um, you're an employee, but you're not an on-call employee. It don't work like that. And if I can't get it done right there and then I have to get it done to when I can. I can't just because look, hey, like, it's like this. Just because you play the music don't mean I got to dance because I
That's
might
it.
hate the song.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I think in general, when it comes to these jobs and people in general, they'll get it
Mm.
together eventually. Especially from my understanding, I don't know if you've heard that the new memo is for this year. Mind your business.
That's the best one. Mind your business.
That has been all I've been hearing all so far is just mind your business. That's what we're doing this year. We
Yeah.
minding our business.
Mind business, drinking water, staying the hell out the way. That's
That's
what I
it.
recommend for anybody.
You mind the business that pays you, because that's leads me into our next thought process.
Mm.
How many times have you been in a situation or have seen a situation where the blow up could have been avoided had somebody just shut up and mind their business?
God, it's been quite a few of those. A few of those have stood out. And sometimes it comes from common misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an exact situation and exact story. But to answer your question, I have been around a few of those. And I'll tell you one. About 2005, I moved to New Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
and I told a handful of people, and I didn't tell the whole world. Well, one of the persons at the time I didn't tell was one of my best friends. But to make a long story short, before I finish this one, me and this friend had grew apart because I realized what I was doing and where I was going, and I saw what he was doing and where he was going, and we were doing this. We
Mm.
were growing apart, and I didn't feel bad. It was just I just felt like, dude, why is it every time I'm around you, there's always something going on? Or I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'm gonna say it. He would talk, he had a little bit of money. He would talk to these girls. They'd be, I come around now. First of all, I ain't ugly. Let's get out of the way. I am not ugly. Who wouldn't want to talk to a young 20-year-old, Eddy Kool back then? 22, 23-year-old Eddy Kool back then. I was good looking. I think I'm good looking now. I think I'm handsome now. A little grays, but I heard the women like that. But anyways, um, so I got to the point I was like, this seems to be all about him. And the few girls that had friends, I try like, hey, what's up? How you doing? They was looking at me like I was a bucket of nasty ass chitlins. But that's okay though. It's all right. So I was like, this is getting old. I'm getting tired of it. And then I would venture out into my like my sub friend groups, and we would go out. We would have fun. It would be about us, and it would not just be about one person. So it just got to the point where boy grew apart. We had this one night. We want to go to the House of Blues, and he was like, "I was like, hey man, let's come with us to the House of Blues. Come on, man. I can't go to the club sober. Well, we gone. We out. I'm not about to sit here and wait for you to get a buzz, only for us to go there and stay 45 minutes, and then I ain't feeling it. I'm ready to go. I don't work hard all weekend for this very Monday night to have fun, and you over here, man, I don't want. No, and so like me and him grew apart, and then like we didn't have a blow up, but I wind up moving back in 2009. He poured his feelings out to me, and it was weird. I had no, man, it was so freaking weird. It was just, he was like, you took a piece of my heart with you when I left. I was like, excuse me. I'm like, you're not a scorn lover. I mean, we
Thinking
were
it, you said it.
friends, huh?
I said I was thinking it. You said it.
I was like, are you a scorn lover? You took a piece of me. You acting like I cheated on you and never came back and had 5 kids on your ass.
Ugh.
But but
All
but
right. I mean, it happens. So you
yeah,
know, let's take it up a notch. You ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So we're talking about your experience with that one friend and whatnot.
Mm,
What is your personal experience, shared experience, when it
mm.
comes to relationships? Have you ever experienced heartache, heartbreak, true love, real love, and how did that mold you to today?
I ran through the whole gamut.
Um,
Uh, I ran through the whole damn gamut. Let's start when I was 17. Met this girl at a famous career center in our area, if you will. She went to one school, went to another school. We hit it
know
off.
what you're
Yeah,
talking about because I went to that famous career center too.
yeah, yeah. Way out there in the middle of.
in the
Anyways,
in the
uh,
sticks.
yeah, the woods. Like what? Like
Hmm.
these damn cornfields. What the hell is this? Anyway,
There's
so
nothing around it.
yeah, so met this girl. She was in the cosmetology class. I was in the culinary arts class. We met each other. Was in each other's face. And then I guess she was supposed to come see me or whatever. Next thing you know, she tells me that she was talking to this other dude, and I was so heartbroken and destroyed and everything. And so I just quit talking to her after that. Let's see, that was one of my lowest of lows. Another lowest of low was when I moved out of South Carolina, moved to moved up north. I won't say this because I'm saying these stories are real, but I'm protecting people because they need to be protected.
I
So
feel you,
let's just
even though
say,
I don't know if I'd be as good as you with protecting people, but go ahead.
oh, I'm gonna tell the story. I just don't want nobody trying to be like, this is defamation of character. Oh, no, 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 no. I know how this works. I've been in the game long enough. I know how this works.
Gotcha.
So this person I was with, another case of it was like 2004. We met up. We fell for each other real quick. We wound up dating. Next thing you know, the following year around February, she pops out a baby. Now I'm doing the math, and I'm like, yeah, that ain't mine. The baby ain't mine. But it is what it is. People do things and things happen.
Hmm.
So was in love with her, fell in love with the baby. We moved back to her home state where I stayed from '05 to '09. The straw that really broke the camel's back was 1 year when I came home for my family reunion. And she said, hey, by the way, the child's father is going to come up here. And I was like, cool, because I've been advocating. I'm like, look, the child needs to know that their father is here too. We're not just because I'm here don't mean that this child don't need to know who their daddy is. So that because it's not fair. You're talking to a guy that lost his daddy when he was 12. So that's personal to me, real personal
Right.
to me. So the child's father came up. Only problem is he not while I was gone. And I was like, there ain't no coming back from this.
Mm.
I said, do you realize that you took the Titanic and put it directly into the iceberg? I said, there's no iceberg sneaking up. You made a hard 90-degree turn, and which you can't do with a boat. You made a hard 90-degree turn and you put it in the Titanic. And I'll be honest with you, the only thing that hurt about that relationship, two things hurt about the relationship. The fact that we were in our 20s, late 20s, the fact that you didn't communicate to me that her father was going to come up and stay in our home that we share. We share a living space. I was all about him staying in the area, close proximity, but in the house, I don't know about all that because I don't know him like that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But I was willing to sacrifice my ego for that child because that child needs this to happen. And
He could have got a
so,
hotel room. He didn't need to stay there with y'all. I'm sorry.
no, that's true. That's true. Or he could have stayed somewhere where, he could have stayed somewhere. So then it got to the point to where, when we broke up and I remember this like yesterday. I was on the computer doing something fantasy football related. I said, hey, I need you to come sit down for a second. I said, from the looks of it, this ain't going nowhere. We're done. It's over. It's not there anymore. So she started crying, and then she hit me with a line that said, "I knew this was going to happen, but I just didn't know when." So you ain't gonna try to, oh baby, what can I do? What did I mess up?
Let's
Can you tell me
fix
what I mess up?
this.
No, she just said, if you done, I'm done too. And I was like, all right. So I made my arrangements to go back home to South Carolina.
Mm.
And then what really hurt me, and I think I'm finally getting over it, probably about 5 years ago, was when that child was when that child was put in that car to go to, I think, was it her grandmother's house, and all I saw was the child waving, saying bye Eddie, bye Eddie, and seeing that child go down the road, thinking in my minds, I'll never see this child again. That is a different kind of heartbreak. That was just it. Like, I helped raise you for 4 years, kid. I love you to death. Me and your mommy work out. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. So that's the heartbreak that I went through that. Oh, let's see. A good relationship, something good I went through. I met somebody while I was in Atlanta, and part of the reason I'm up in Ohio because I met somebody that that captivated my eye. And the thing about this is just with that, You just have to communicate and be intentional on what you do and make
Yeah.
sure you're on the same page. Make sure what you want, what they want, make sure it meets in the middle. And you just have to take everything and meet in the middle. You're going to agree and disagree, but sometimes you're going to come to a compromise. So I think, so my take on relationships, if the communication is good, if there's trust and honesty, and you can be transparent without having to be sneaky and hide things and just be upfront with it. That's good. Relationships are a good thing, especially when two people are on the same page. So I'm all for relationships. What I hate is when I go on Facebook and every group that you see they want to talk about, I want to be in a relationship, and it's just like and it's just like you ain't got nothing else to talk about.
What about these
Nothing.
toxic relationships?
These toxic relationships, people need to pardon my French again, but people need to stay the fuck away from each other. When it's like that, just get away.
I agree. I'm gonna tell you something straight up.
Just
Like
get
the
away.
thing that I don't understand with these toxic relationships is this,
Mm.
and it could be because they're young. I don't know. I can't relate to it. But this
Which,
is the
which,
thing.
which, which I chalk it up to that. But go ahead. But go ahead.
I try to, but you know what? No. I'm not chalking it up just because they're young, because there's people older than me in toxic relationships.
Mm.
What's your excuse now? Now
Yeah.
it's just looking like this is what you like this kind of stuff. You like this kind of negative energy. You like this type of negative
Mm.
attention. Why? Like this is so unhealthy. When you look at these celebrities and these toxic relationships, y'all putting hands on each other, got the kids involved, got this person involved, fighting each other, fighting family members, everything. Why are we doing this? And then the first thing they said was, "I love him." Hello, wake up.
If
You love him. Obviously, he don't love you. So you the only one in love, and it's not gonna work like that, sweetheart. It don't. It's not a one way street. I
if
don't get
that's
it.
love, if that's love, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Mm-mm. If that's love, hate me.
Yeah, hate me. Can't stand me. Hate my guts. I
That's
can't stand it,
it.
man. Just like I look at some was it is I don't get into it, but sometimes the news finds me before I find it. Like this whole Blueface and Krayshawn Rock
I knew you
situation.
were gonna go there. Yes.
I'm just like, one of y'all need to move to the other side of the country. That way, you 4,000 miles out of each other's face. But you can't because now there's a child involved. So now you got to see this fool. And I ain't gonna lie to you. Once again, you're setting a bad example in front of the child
Yeah.
because unfortunately, some people don't know what normality is in life. They function off of chaos. And what's chaos to me and you is just another day in the life of that person. And it's like, no, you don't have to live like this. You don't have to. A lot of the stuff that you put yourself through, you don't have to do it. Because I'm telling you, man, I've heard so many stories, and I say to myself, I am glad that ain't me.
You who you
Mm-mm.
telling? Listen, Vegas has showed me some things and taught me a lot. And I'm just like, look, I can't deal. My thing is like you said, chaos to me is normal to them. And I'm just like, I know how I feel when I got chaos going on around me. I know how I feel when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm stressed. I know how
Mm.
that makes me feel, and it does not feel good. So it's
No.
like, I think what it is when it comes to these toxic relationships and these toxic situations, you have not had a chance to actually have peace and enjoy
Mm.
being at peace. All you've known is chaos. And it starts,
Yeah.
honestly, I hate to say it like this, but it kind of does start at childhood. When you have a
Yeah.
toxic childhood growing up, you never got the chance to know what real peace was. And in
Oh.
the event that you get a piece of that peace, why would you not want that? Because even like you said, okay, prime example, you said Krishan Rock and Blueface, okay? I
Mm.
typically try to stay away from this kind of topic, but I'm going to go ahead and speak
I'm.
on it real quick because this is just my
But but
thoughts on it.
but just like I said, it draws you in and it finds you. Go ahead.
And it does.
Yeah.
Now let's be honest. I'll be 100% honest. I like personally, I do like Krishan Rock. I like her.
Mm.
I think she's got potential. I mean, I just That's how I feel. I'm like, okay, we've all been young, we've all been dumb, we've done it before.
Mm,
So who am I to pass judgment on her and her situation when I see all this stuff going on? I might not
mm,
agree with it all the time, but there are other times when she's trying to focus on what she's got going on. She actually
mm,
got some sense. And I can see that, yeah, you might have been brought up in a chaotic household, but at one point in time, you had that piece. This chick was an athlete running
mm-hmm,
track for college. You had
mm-hmm,
peace, but
mm-hmm,
you let that side of the world overtake everything else that you stood for.
mm-hmm.
And I said, that's I said, that's the one thing I don't 100% agree with. But as a person, you are human, and I get it. There are things that has transpired with her since she's had that baby, and she said she let it be known. The situation with the Walmart video, she said, instead of you sitting here videotaping me going through that with my baby, why the hell didn't you just come over here and say, hey, can I help you? Do you need help? Nobody offered to help, but y'all ready to pull out a phone and record something. But when somebody truly needs help, where's the help? And it's even
And
down
that's
to Blueface as a man. I don't like him because my thing is this: as a man, I was raised by a man. Was not perfect. He was not perfect by a long shot, but a lot of the traits and characteristics of a man that are typical with any other man, if I don't see it in those men, I'm like, yo, I cannot respect that. I cannot respect a man that puts his hands on a woman and calls this, that, and the other.
mm,
You calling her a B every chance you get. You calling her out of her name every chance you get, but that's the mother of your child, whether you want to admit it or not.
yeah.
Then you put your hands on her. You embarrass her on social media just for likes. Sweetheart, you have kids. How are you going to feel when your kids grow up going through that same thing, or if not worse? Because keep in mind, he does have a son, another son by the other girl. You got a
Mm,
daughter supposedly by the other girl, and now you got this third baby. How are you going to stand as a man and watch somebody mistreat your kids the same way you've mistreated these women?
yeah,
You
that's
ain't got no leg to
just
stand on because at that point, they're going to do you like you did your daddy. How you went off on your dad and you go off on your mom. The same level of respect that you give your parents, you're going to get that back tenfold. And that's one thing that
and
being from the South, and that's why I say, now we're going to switch angles a little bit. Being from the South and being from the West Coast and everywhere else that I've ever been in my life, there's a difference in morality and a way of living. Being in the
mm,
South, we have a respect for our elders. We have a respect for adults. Whether we want to give it to them off the rip or not. My thing is this: from the South, that respect was already given because number one, you've already been somewhere that I haven't been yet.
mm-hmm,
That right there garners my respect. Because if you're at 65, I'm not there yet. You're gonna get that respect from me. It's not about, oh, well, you got to earn your respect because this new age energy, you got to give respect to get respect. Sweetheart, the way we were raised, you give respect, period.
yeah.
There's not,
Until
you
it's
got to
other,
give some to get some. What? I'm gonna
and
garner my respect because I've already been where you're at. I've already been through life. You ain't been nowhere. How am I? What do you
yeah,
want me to? You want me to respect you at 20 years old? Why am I respecting you again? And you haven't earned it.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you carry yourself with respect, then I'll respect you in the spot that you're in. But other than that, you're not gonna tell me that I'm gonna give you respect, and I will punch you in the throat.
You got to give me respect. Well, you have to do something in order for me to give you the
You
respect.
have to be respectable to
Yeah,
get
that's
my
it. Yeah, you have
respect
to be.
off the rip.
Yeah,
If
you got
you're
to be
walking
respectable to
around
be
in
respected.
itty bitty clothes with your chest hanging out, stomach hanging out, butt hanging out, and you want me to respect that, I'm gonna respect it as much as these men out here in the streets respect it. How about that?
Yeah. And that's another thing. Oh, he don't. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm like, look. Sometimes it's all about is about the presentation. If your presentation, but if you're presenting like this, that, and third, and people will perceive you as like
This, that, and the
people
third.
gonna prejudge. Yeah, like well, you out here doing this, that, and third, none of that. But you say you can't find nobody.
Listen, remember that old
You got to
saying?
help.
If it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, 9 times out of 10, it's a duck, right?
It's a darn duck. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Affleck.
It's
You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
present yourself as a streetwalker, but
Yeah.
demand the respect. a first lady in a church. It ain't gonna happen.
I'm looking for a respectable man. I'm a little it's like this. I'm turning on the radio, I'm hearing the music, but the song you singing don't make no sense. I can't put having a hard time. Just understand, it's just that's what it is, man. It's just yes, that whole situation. I mean, like I said, relationships are good when people are on the same page. They get along. They can communicate. They can talk about things. And like one of the things I've kind of stayed away from because I know that every situation is different. The influence of social media's influence on relationships, like the whole the man got to do this, the woman got to do that, and somebody got to pay 50. Look, 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 look. We are on the outside looking in. We don't know everybody's situation. Somebody might be they might be able to do 50-50 for a short part of time. There might be a 60-40 going on here. Or there might be a person doing 100%, but the other person's doing this, and this. I stay out of those conversations because number one, ain't my damn business what they do. And number two, everybody's situation is different.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I look at when it comes to people that comment on other people's situations, other people's relationships, what other people are going through. My thing is this:
Mhm.
what works for you might not necessarily work for me.
That's the thing.
And it's like that's the thing that I have to explain to people. Like I've literally and this conversation was had with my dad and them out in Vegas at one point in time.
Mm,
When I first got there, I was told, go ahead and apply for housing, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. I applied for
mm,
housing. I sat on a waiting list for 2 years. When it's
oof,
all said and done, I went in for my appointment, trying to get my housing. As soon as
mm,
they ran the fingerprints, I was denied.
oof,
And the question then was, well, what happened? What works for you in your situation does not work for
mm,
everybody else. If you don't
yep,
have, I'll be honest with this situation. I'm getting advice from someone who has no criminal record.
mm,
You're giving advice with no criminal record to a person that is a convicted felon. It is not going to work the
yeah.
same. What works for you
No,
with no record is not going to work for me with a record.
yeah, that's one of them things where you just have to look at like, okay, I'm giving it. They're giving advice from what they know, and like I can. That's like me giving you advice about how to fly a rocket ship, but I know everything there is to fly a rocket ship. But you can't fly a rocket ship because number one, you don't give a damn, and number two, you got a little nick on you, that little X on you. So it's gonna come across there. But yeah, that works for you. But you also, I just think that you always have to consider the other person and what they got going on before you start spewing off advice. I'll give people advice for a minute, but I'll give people advice for forever. But what they got to tell me first is what they got going on. So that way I know how to preface said advice. Okay, normally I would have said this, and this, but due to the fact that they gave me that little bit of information, I got to take this, rewrite this. This don't apply to them. This don't apply to them. This don't apply to them, and just give them
There
that.
it
It might
is.
be a condensed version. Yeah, it might be a condensed version, but at least it's the advice. It's something that they can use as opposed to, well, you say this because your score is 700, my score is a 3, so you're giving me 700 stuff worth 3, but in the meantime they got to figure out how to get a damn 5, a halfway point. So it's just trying to just yeah, sometimes you got to be real mindful when you got to give advice and just be aware of the person and their situation and then go based off that.
That's, I think, the biggest thing with giving any advice. Because everybody, and that's the thing, I just had this conversation with my wife last night. Everybody's got an opinion about something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your opinion is not asked for.
Mm-mm.
I
Mm-mm.
got a, like, I had a whole situation where she got upset about it. But I mean, it's the truth. There was this, I guess, a watch service in Atlanta, some Atlanta church that's been going viral on social media. And
Mm. They were doing the swag service in the
yes,
church. That what it was.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. That's not good. It doesn't go in line, and there's no way, and this that they everybody's gonna have their opinion. But my thing is this: were you there? No. Okay. So what does your opinion matter? You were not there. On top of
Yeah.
that,
And
like I tell anybody with anything, you're not obligated to watch it. If you don't agree with it,
no,
scroll. Scroll by. You don't have to watch
yeah.
it. You don't have to entertain it. You don't even have to comment on it. But for some reason, everybody feels like my opinion matters, so I need to speak on it. Mind your business.
And it don't.
Mm-mm.
And it pardon my French, and it fucking don't.
It doesn't.
It it doesn't like
You remember being in
the
high in
only time.
school? I don't know which teacher it was, but he used to always tell us what opinions were like. As I had a teacher that everywhere I went, I always had a teacher that told us that your opinion,
That's something.
everybody's got one. Everybody's gonna
That's
have an
something.
opinion about everything. People got opinions about me
Yeah.
now. People got opinions about
Yeah.
you. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I didn't ask you for that. I care less about what you
Yeah.
think about it. With that whole thing with
What's
the church, that's on them. And then
that's them.
everybody
Something
wants
they
to
got.
get biblical and scriptural and get into the one thing about it with that situation, just like I explained to her, and she got upset with me, but it's okay. I said the same way and the same people that pass judgment on you walking in church and you have the audacity to pass judgment on a situation that you saw a clip of in church, let he who is not without sin cast the first stone. Does that not sound familiar? So you're passing judgment on a situation that you saw a clip of. You don't even have the whole context in the situation. My thing is this: it could have been a situation where he was just including everybody that was there. You know, with these younger kids, they're not going to listen to old school gospel music. They're not going to listen to that. So you have to do certain
You
things
you
to get their attention, to keep them focused and to keep them with you.
you have
I'm
you.
not mad about that. If they were
Mm-mm.
swag surfing in church and it worked for the church, then God, you know what? Praise be. If it worked, it
I, I
worked.
I look at it's like the topic of religion and the younger generation. You got to meet them halfway. You got to meet them halfway. You
Yep.
have to meet them halfway because kids don't want to go to church no more. It's this, is that. It's this, is that. Look, the way church was, the way it was, orchestrated, whatever it was in '75, ain't the same way in '85. Not the same way in '95. I don't know what you're thinking in 2005, 2015. It's different in 2024. So there's damn near 40 years I've covered. There's damn near 40 years I've covered. Every 10 years, things change every 10 years. Hell, things change every 3 to 5 years, if
Look,
we're
things
being
change
real.
every day.
Yeah, things change every day. And all that hallelujah, hollering, slapping, falling out, and um preacher crying and all this stuff. So I mean, if you feel in the spirit, you feel in the spirit, I get it. But everybody ain't doing that. I've been to a lot of churches and everybody ain't doing that. They are now meeting people in the they meet people where they at.
That's it.
They outreach it. It's like this. They say, you know what? A lot of them say, you know what? Since they won't come to us, and we having trouble getting them to come to us, let's meet them halfway
We got
and
to
see
go
what
to
we get from
them.
there. Yeah, you got to go to them. You got to go to them. You got to go to them. You got to go to their environment. You got to go to their chapel, whatever, and then whatever you got going on, tell them about it and how they take this, how they take it. But as far as you need to like the older generation. They always had a habit of telling people like, you need to do this. You got to be here. This is the way to do it. It's called evolution. It's called
That's
evolution.
it.
Prime example of that. I know we might be flying all over the place with topics and all that. Evolution. There are people now in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s who are not tech savvy, which is no surprise.
Hmm.
But here's the deal. I have a brother who will be 60 pretty soon. And he's pretty doggone tech savvy. Then you have some people, they're 55. "Oh, I don't want to touch that thing. I don't know nothing about computers." Here's
Oh, I
what you have
see
to
it all the
understand.
time. Hell, it's something as simple as self
The
checkout.
yeah, "I don't want to do this. This is confusing." It is only as confusing as you make it. If you
Hmm.
find that smart niece or nephew, hey, can you show me how to use this? I'm not you. Can you show me how to use this? Like my mom, when she passed away, she was 75. She's like, I don't know how to use that. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try to force this upon you. I think a lot of times when it comes to those generations, what else are you willing to learn? What else are you willing to do? Because back in the day, me and some we always had this conversation, me and some a lot of people. You wanted to pay the cable bill, you would have to go to the office.
Hmm.
You want to pay your light bill, you would have to drive all the way, to the other part of the damn town and go pay it. And which is not a short drive if you know like I
I know, like, you know.
know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to drive. Pay the light bill is up the street. When I found out that you could pay bills online, I was like, you mean to tell me I can sit in my house in my drawers and pay bills? I ain't got to leave. I've been paying bills online since 2005. What
Knew
man?
it.
Go somewhere. Pfft, you must. Mm-mm. And then, oh, I could order. I could order a mattress off of Amazon because I'm the reason I'm saying it because I'm looking at the box now. I can order a box and it can get here in 2 days, and I ain't got to go to the furniture store and talk about APRs and all this stuff. I can just get my mattress, my queen size mattress for my bed, and it'll be here, and I can put it together. I'm telling you, man, technology has changed the world, man. Some people they're scared of it.
It
It's just
has. You think
a
about back in the day, just mailing a letter.
yeah,
It took 3 to 5 business days just for you to get your
yeah,
letter, get pictures in the mail and stuff like that. Because you keep in mind, we come from a generation where we get school pictures. You got to send it to all your family members,
yeah.
and you give them a good week, maybe two, for everybody to get it, and then they'll all call
Mm-hmm.
you and say, "Oh my God, he's growing up so well." Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
And now
Sitting there
you
taking
look
that
at
picture.
today where you literally order stuff and it's right there. Like I
Yeah.
literally am, I'm personally getting to the point where I'm doing like DoorDash, and it's still like, dang, I can remember it. Not even, let's just say 15 years ago, there was no
Mm-hmm.
DoorDash.
Nope.
There was, if you wanted something to eat, you better get up and go get it.
Yeah. You got to go out there and get it. You got to get your ass up and go and get it. You got to
And
get
that's
your
all
ass
it
up and go and get it.
was.
Yeah.
And it's
Even
like
grocery
now,
shopping now.
oh, grocery shop, don't even get me started. You
Yeah.
have options. You can either have Instacart or grocery shop. They will go pick out your groceries for you. They will go pick out your groceries for you.
Yeah.
Pay for them at the self check or at the checkouts and
Yeah.
deliver them to your house.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave your house for groceries anymore.
Yeah. Just say if you had a bad day, I don't want to leave the house, but I need grocery.
Everything is online.
Yeah. Everything's online.
And it's just like you said, when it comes to that older generation, how much more do you really want to learn? Because in all the reality, I don't expect them to pick up a phone and figure it out. I don't expect them to
Yeah.
do that because you think about everything that they've lived through so far.
Yeah.
Why do we want to complicate matters by telling them, oh, you got to do it online?
Yeah.
And then wonder why they're
I don't.
upset.
And
Why they
I
all
don't want to do
moody
all
and
that. And
yeah, they're gonna be moody. These are people that have lived through wars, lived through famines, lived through issues, lived through different presidents telling them they're worthy, but they're not worthy, and all kind that they've lived through all of these different things and all these different things that we have not experienced. You look at
mm-hmm.
segregation. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
experience that. They did.
Nope. Yep.
Being told you can't vote. We didn't go through that. Now it's just to a point where black people don't want to vote because, oh, I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to do it. I ain't supporting
Yeah.
this. I ain't supporting that. But then you look at our great grandparents, our grandparents, aunts and uncles, and everybody of that nature that grew up in those time frames that
Mm-hmm.
literally fought for the right for us to do that. And it's like, this is what y'all do with it. I
Yeah.
get certain aspects on it, in which, I watched a little clip the other day with oh my God, I love him so much. Killer Mike.
Yeah.
He had a summit with Ti and Candace Owens, and oh my God, it was heated.
Mm-hmm.
But he really drew everybody back in and had a very valid point with the situation. People don't want to vote because they feel like it's not going to make a difference. But he's like, if we sat down as a people and had a 10-point bulletin agenda and said, look, these are the demands we have. These are what the things that we want. If you can't meet it, we ain't got time for you. What happened to those type of leaders? We don't have them no more.
They don't. We don't, and it's sad. And I think a lot of people are into what's best for me. What can I get out of it? How does it best benefit? It's more self-serving of you. Well, the thing about it is, sometimes how you feel, it may be resonated to 10 people. Then after that 10, it might be resonated to 20 people. So if all y'all get your brain power and skills and all this together, okay, well, what's the issue with this happening in the black community? Unjust treatment by the police, having to go through hell and high water just to get a good interest rate on a house, racial discrimination, um, feeling that we're being left behind, that we can't catch up. And so, like you said, if you put down a 10-point bulletin about, look, if you want, if you, it's pretty much a barter system. You want the, we want this, you want the vote. So what we gonna do?
That's it. And a lot of people don't
Yeah,
think about it like that. You got so many people, like you said, that's stuck on me, 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 me.
yeah,
But the bigger picture is it ain't just about you, sweetheart. You're not the
mm-mm,
one you can want to buy a house, but you're not the one that you have to go through to buy the house. You're
yeah.
not the one that you have to go through to get that job and make that money. You're not the only one in this situation. So what you have to figure out is what's going to not just work for you, but see, I have changed my mindset to work for not just me, but my kids.
Yeah.
Not It's not about what you can do for me because in all the reality, I'm okay with just working my job and doing this and doing that. I'm okay with that. I want to
Mm-hmm.
know, what do you have in store so when my kids get up in age, how are they going to be okay? What are they going to be? What are they going to have to endure? Are they
Yeah.
going to have to take care of me? Are they going to be able to take care of them and be able to take care of me, or whatever the case may be? What do you offer to stabilize me and my family? To stabilize things to where I can afford to take care of my children now. What are you going to do to make that what are you going to do, or what are you willing to do to make that a reality for me? What are
Yeah.
you going to do about me being a convicted felon? These are the things that I have restrictions on. What are you going to do to
Mm-hmm.
make that better for me? How are you going to improve how are you going to improve my well-being? How are you going to improve my life? What are you going to do for that? If you don't have anything for me, then I don't have anything for you. And it might just
We
be okay,
gonna
well, it's just one person, but I guarantee you, like you said, there's always that one person or others that can understand and reciprocate what I'm saying.
there's that if we haven't learned anything from this last presidential election, there are strength in numbers.
Hmm.
I'm not a guy that's big on politics because sometimes to me politics is just a glorified pissing contest, and it is and the pissing contest becomes mundane because it's like, you know what, y'all not talking about what y'all trying to do for the people. Y'all not rolling out any new ideas what you're trying to do for the people. And then this whole Republican and Democrat mess, I'm sick of the whole party structure altogether.
I've been sick of it. I'm just looking for him to just be like, you know what? I just want to find somebody that actually has reality set in. Like, stop being
Yeah,
so blinded to everything else that's going on. I just need somebody that's
yeah,
reality. Like, I need somebody that's tuned into reality. I
yeah.
don't care
There,
whether
there-
you're
there's
Democratic. I don't care whether you're Republican. I don't care if you're other. I don't care. What
yeah.
are you trying to do to make anything any better?
What's your best interest for society as a whole?
That's
It's
it.
just like well, if you agree with a Republican, you're racist, you're this, you're that, and da 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 da.
But see,
And
even
if
Candace Owens
you
made a very valid point with that. Everybody keeps talking
yeah,
about the Republicans are this, the Republicans are that, but you do realize that we started off as Republicans.
and a lot of people don't know that.
But
A
that
lot of people don't know
but
that.
that boils
They
down
don't.
to, in all
They
due
don't know that.
reality, I'm gonna tell you something that my dad used to tell me when I was younger, and this is the God honest truth. And it shows
Mm,
even more now because the way that social media has engineered and trained people's brains and stuff to function. When's the last time somebody picked up a book, an actual book with pages?
it's been a while.
Mm,
It's been
okay.
a while.
They
I've
always
done
said,
audiobooks, but yeah, but still,
but
yeah, it's good. Yeah,
it has always been said, if you want to keep something from black people, what do?
put it in a book.
That's it.
Put it, put
Put
it
it
in a
in a
book.
book. There are so many books out here on how to's and how to get through this, how to manage that, but nobody's picking up the books. All they're worried about is like we just had a conversation about Krishan Rock and Blueface.
Yeah, people
P.
ain't doing
Diddy
nothing for
doing
them.
this, Donald Trump
And
doing
some
that.
people is doing nothing for you. Like sometimes, like I said, I believe it's gonna have to be. It's gonna come to a point where you can't wait to be led. You have to take the initiative for your own responsibility to lead, learn, and go.
That's it.
Teach your teach your kids how to be self-sufficient as possible. One of my biggest flaws is sometimes I don't know when to ask for help because I try to take on so much.
Feel like it's about to get good. Look, it's my second bottle now.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah, I hadn't even had my first one yet. But anyways, it's just a it's just the fact that I was told recently like, hey, I think you're trying to do too much, and I'm like, look, here's the thing about it: the one, the two, and then the three. The one brings in the steady money. The two is going to eventually replace the one and be the source of income. The three, four, five, and six are seeds that's planted into the ground.
There it is.
Or seeds is planted into the ground because it's going to get to the point where if I water these seeds, cultivate this soil, and bring and be my mama's green thumb, them little seeds gonna become little small little trees. Them small little trees gonna become these nice normal sized trees, and then they're gonna be big old redwoods one day.
And they're
Not only
gonna
for me to
bear
benefit.
it's like literally, even though we said, we're staying away from religion and all that good stuff, because we
Mm,
typically, we get it. But it
yeah,
is it's written. You will
yeah,
reap the fruits of your labor.
yeah.
And people don't seem to understand that that's how it's working right. Even right now. When if you go to work, you clock 40 hours a week. Do you
Mm,
not get paid for those 40 hours that you clock?
get paid.
Okay. With you getting paid that 40 hours, can you not provide for yourself? You reap the
Yeah.
fruits of your labor. That's a
Mm-hmm.
prime example. But then when you look at, like you said, you got one, two, three, four, five, six, right?
Mm,
You're going to reap the fruits of your labor. The time and energy that you put into what you want to have done or what you want to do, you're going to reap the benefits of that. And that's with anybody and anything. If you put genuine drive and genuine energy into anything, you're going to see the fruits of that. You're going to reap that. If somebody tells you, "Oh, well, you don't have you're doing too much. You don't have time for this. You don't have time for that." Sweetheart, you don't go home with me and I know what I have time for.
hey, and like I told somebody one time before, I said I don't think I do enough. Sometimes you don't think you do enough, and sometimes we have a tendency to be to be hard on ourselves. But I just believe that if you're self motivated and you want better, you can make some things happen. You- Things that you thought that you never could do, you those things like right there in front of your face. I'm gonna tell. Well, I'm not gonna drop your names, but I'm gonna tell you a little story real quick.
You've been really good with about not dropping names.
I'm just saying, people be real funny, but oh, you put my name on the podcast. And da-da-da-da." I'm just saying, like when you start doing this a little bit more, you kind of you can tell how they say the following The following show contains elements that happen in real life. The name, the stories are real, but the name has been altered to protect the image. They give a disclaimer, so that's what
Yes.
I'm giving a disclaimer. I was at a bar last night, minding my business. There was a seat here and a seat there, a gentleman in the other seat beside the empty seat, and two gentlemen beside the empty seat. So I'm eating wings, eating chicken, having me a casual, having me a little burr, watching the game or whatever. And these two dudes sit down, and the dude sit real close to me. And I'm not ear hustling, but when you sit in a bar, sometimes you're this close to the next person. So I'm kind of on my phone, everything, just da 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 da. And then I hear something about sports and writing. I'm not trying to get into your conversation, gentlemen, but I hear you talk about sports and writing. The one gentleman told me who he wrote for, and I was like, "Oh, I'm familiar with that entity." And then he told me what he did, and I was like, "Oh, your face looks familiar." So I said, "Well, how about this? Since I'm on Twitter or X, I don't call it X. You know what? X is kind of like that scene in Coming to America. Your mama named your Twitter, I'm gonna call you Twitter.
There
So
it is.
therefore, so I go on Twitter, and I was like, all right, here's my way of networking is different. Here's my information. Here's what I do. So he looked at the profile and everything. He's like, oh, that's Parkwood Street. Yeah, yeah. I said, so we're gonna follow each other. We're gonna follow each other. So it's kind of like, okay, meeting like I've meeting people and to get you to get to where you're trying to get. This guy's established. So okay, well, maybe I could pick his brain and do this. I met a news guy twice last year, and I met him at my old job at the time, and then I wound up meeting him at the convenience store. I said, "Hey, I remember you. Didn't you come to blah 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 blah?" He's like, "Man, you got a good memory." In fact, I did come there. I said, "Matter of fact, you on social media?" And so I follow. I'll whip out that damn social media because a lot of my work and stuff that I do, you can see it on social media. At the real Eddy Kool, in case y'all wondering out
There we go with the
there.
handles. Go ahead. Drop
Gotta
it
put
out
them
there.
out there. Gotta put them out there. Gotta put them out there. So it's just putting yourself in these situations, and you know what that does? That helps out. That feeds. That feeds 4, 5, and 6, and also it jumps up to number two
Mm-hmm.
because number two can send a water line down to 4, 5, and 6. So 2, 4, 5, and 6 are interconnected.
There it is.
2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, and 6 are interconnected. It's all about getting out there and talking to people and meeting people. Like people, like, won't you go to networking events? I went to one networking event and it was disappointing. I was like, first of all, you got this old ass photo from 4 years ago, and there's nobody here. I get it. I digress. I get it. It's all good. So whenever I'm somewhere and people start having conversations about things, and you know, I'll kind of ear hustle, but not, and I'm like, hey, I ain't trying to get into your conversation, which I am. But I hear you guys are talking about sports, da, 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 da. And that way I can tell them what I'm doing, and they can tell me what they're doing without me sounding braggadocious. I, in a way, I'm selling myself. Hey, look, this is what I do. I do this, this, and this. I do this, this, and this. I also do this, this, and this. I try not to tell them too much, but I say to myself, tell them because
Word of
they might
mouth.
know somebody. Yeah, because they might know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, you got LinkedIn and all this other stuff, but when you sit down and actually talk to the people that's working in the industry where you're trying to grow and evolve in, throw that handle out, throw this out. Hey, I got an online business card. You can check out my stuff. Like I don't want to say I got it organized, but I got to where, hey Ed, we want to see some of your writings, your interviews, and your content and all this. You can go to the Sports Bros podcast, which I also host as well too. Um, I got a link tree for the Sports Bros podcast and a link tree for Edwin Vereen stuff. So that way you can see everything. You can see everything. Well, I didn't see it. Well, take a picture, click that button. There's everything you need to see. There's everything you need to see. So it's just the fact like you gotta get out here, you gotta grind, you gotta make a name for yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Know when to ask for help, and you just gotta be on your shit.
That's it. I want to go ahead and get ready to, unfortunately, because I've really enjoyed you today. I've been enjoying
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But
I've enjoyed. I enjoy you too. I enjoy doing this. I'm like, for once, I'm not hosting a podcast. I'm a guest, and I'm kind of running my mouth. I
that's
really
what we
enjoy
need
it.
you to do. But no, I just
Yeah.
want to sit. Okay, so I want to just go ahead and kind of get ready to start wrapping it up and just find out from you with everything that you're doing, everything that you have done, what has been your biggest source of inspiration and would you what words of encouragement would you have for anybody that would tune in, that would watch, that would say, you know what, this is something I thought about doing, but I'm not sure? Like, what would be, again, your source of inspiration, number one, and number
Mm.
two, your words of encouragement for anybody else coming up behind us?
My source of inspiration comes from two places. My mother, because she always believed in me. No matter how far fetched my idea sounded, she always believed in me. And I would always see my mom when I would do certain things. She would kind of be behind the scenes, kind of just looking at me, just kind of looking at me. I know my mom looked over my shoulder and looked at me a lot of times. So that's one inspiration. Another inspiration, I will say this woman's name, a woman by the name of Miss Ann Sprinkle. Um, when I was in the seventh grade, I was in English class, and I really wasn't giving my all. I don't know if it's because I was still grieving over the death of my dad, or still trying to find out who I was at the tender age of 13, and things of that nature.
Right.
So Miss Sprinkle, who also taught my brother and my sister, she looked at me and she looked at my mama, and then she looked at me, and then she looked at my mom again. She said, "You see him right there?" She said, I'm gonna just keep it real with you." She said, "I'm gonna just be completely honest. He could do anything he want to as long as he put his mind to it." That's so profound because the fact that she saw in me what I didn't see in myself, like, you know what, maybe I need to kind of tighten up a little bit. But that really didn't happen until later on in life. And I always, that's why teachers are so important. That's why good teachers are so important because they see things in you don't see in yourself or nobody else has even told you. And then this been damn near close to 30 years ago. This woman said this about me. And for me to still remember that, that's very vivid in my mind because I'm gonna get to the other part of the question because I started doing music. There's no way in hell I'm gonna memorize all my songs. I can barely remember what I did 5 minutes ago. Every song I've done, I perform, I know it. I memorized it. And it also taught me that, hey man, stop discrediting yourself. You are worthy, you are valid, you are good. And whenever I look at something, it seems like to be a daunting task. I hear Miss Ann Sprinkle go, Edwin can do anything he wants to as long as he put his mind to it. And my advice to anybody out there that's doing, follow your heart, follow your dream. If it's your passion, if it's your calling, go ahead and do it. If you come through time, there's going to be some times where things go as planned and things don't go as planned, don't give up. When things go as planned, keep going, keep busting ass, make things happen. But if things happen to where you falter and kind of get off the path, just take a break, regroup, recenter, refocus, and get back at it. Because the last thing you want to do is say, you know what? I wonder what would have happened if I didn't quit.
That shoulda,
I
coulda,
wonder
woulda.
what happened. Yeah, that should have could have bought out. It bites you in the ass every chance. You don't want to be sitting right here 75 with the shoulda coulda woulda.
Mm-mm.
You want to be sitting right here by, you know what? I gave it a shot. And even if it didn't work, you can say, you know what? I gave it a shot. That was my thing, but I had to center this over here. This seems to be my thing, and now I'm good to go. So keep going. Minimize the chatter. Um, know the between good advice and bad advice. get a team, keep strong people around you, and just, pardon my French, just fucking do it.
I like that.
Just fucking do it.
I like that. Well,
Just do it.
I appreciate you hanging out with us today.
No problem.
And
Anytime. Anytime you want me to come on here and run my mouth, just let me know.
you know I will. You gonna probably be like one of the people that come up here regularly.
Reoccurring guests. I love it.
That's fine. That works for me. So I just want to leave this off. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little tidbit, like drop a little jewel real quick, right? So
Mm.
for anybody that would be interested in tuning in and watching and checking out what we got going on, um, I have officially made Eddy Kool part of my production team. Eddy Kool is definitely production. That's my guy. He does all. He's the one that's gonna make all of this stuff a thing. He's gonna make it all pop. So
That's what I
just
do.
like you
That's what I
said,
do.
when you have a goal and you have a dream and you something that you want to do, just do it. Because, like I said, we have had numerous conversations about my dream, my vision for this podcast, for this situation, and you have been one of my biggest supporters with the whole situation. I want to just go ahead and go on record for saying thank you. I
I appreciate it.
appreciate
But hey,
you.
like just like I told you, I'm like, look, I'm like, this idea sounds good. Do it.
Let's just
Do it.
do it. And that's what we're
Yeah.
gonna keep doing.
Cause
We're
you
gonna do it, and we're gonna keep going. Like as I said, there's gonna be some times where we're gonna have wonderful guests. There's gonna be times where it's just gonna be me and my awesome co-host. You'll get to meet
mm,
her soon, and it's just
ooh,
gonna be
I'm
some things
excited.
that we're just gonna definitely start trying to, try different things, see what works for us, what doesn't work, and it's just gonna be a trial and error thing. But I do want to really appreciate
Mm,
you coming on today, hanging out with us as production.
no problem. Anytime, anytime, no problem. Like I said, hey, I don't mind doing this. It feels good to be on the other side of the mic for the first time.
Well, maybe next time it'll be, one of the things where you unfortunately won't be on the other side of the mic, but I'll be joining you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Whenever I get my thing kicked off, I got a full plate. I got a full plate. I got to move the greens over here so it don't touch the cornbread, so the cornbread won't get
So it
soaked with
don't
collard
touch.
green
What
juice.
you mean? You
And
supposed to mix it all together.
well, see, the thing about it is, I don't. It's just making sure that nothing is oversaturated. I don't want nothing oversaturated. You know what I'm
I
saying? I
got
don't
you.
want nothing oversaturated. So I just want everything kind of just even.
So the
I am
greens
not
away
one of
from the
those.
yams, away from the potato salad, away from the deviled eggs. I got you.
No, I'm keeping all that shit together. All it's on one plate. It's on one plate. It just ain't doing this right here. Just doing this overlapping and stuff. I well, how can I say this? The people that be like, I don't want my food to touch together. It's gonna touch together eventually. It's
There it
gonna touch
is. That's
together
why I don't
eventually.
understand that whole concept. I don't want my food to touch.
Yeah.
It's gonna touch. What difference does it make? Eat it.
I tell people, I don't want my food to touch. Hey, that's okay. Keep eating.
There it is.
Yeah,
Well,
keep
like I
eating.
said, as always, I want to thank you for just coming on, spending time with us, and giving us that moment of your day, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us,
Exactly.
and we appreciate it.
I appreciate you very
Oh,
much. So I
come on now.
appreciate
Don't
you.
you start. Look, you know what
I
I look. I
appreciate.
done look. My cup's empty again, so don't start.
Hey, look, I appreciate you. It's fun. It's gonna be fun. It's 2024. We finna kick down this doggone door.
I
That's
mean, you
all I
hit me
know.
with the cup, but here you go. Hit you with the cup again.
Bam.
There we go.
Yeah, we
We're
finna
on to
kick
bigger and
down.
better things, and I really do. I
Yep,
appreciate the conversations we've had. I appreciate your mindset as far as where you're trying to take everything. And just so you know, Porch Perspectives is definitely got your back with everything. So we're definitely in this together. So I appreciate you letting us be a part of you and you being a part of us.
yep, I appreciate it too. And I got some of my best education. Learn a lot of my best lessons of life sitting on the porch.
There it is. That's why I
School is one
said
thing,
Porch
but that
Perspectives. How can we
that
not?
porch. Yeah, right there on that porch. Yep.
There it is. Hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, maybe a month or so from now, when it starts to, the weather starts to warm up a little bit,
Mm.
we'll actually be able to physically be on the porch. But right now, it's just too cold. It's too cold.
Yeah,
I'm not going on nobody porch right now.
I'm looking at unless it's heated. I'm looking outside right now. I don't see
Y'all
any
got snow?
snow. We had a light dusting this morning. I woke up this morning. I was like, but it's nothing like it was last year where it was like snow. But
Yeah, we still haven't seen any snow yet. So hopefully. We
Yeah.
don't, but I don't know. They were saying something about we're supposed to get a white Christmas, but that didn't happen. So I don't know.
No. No. We up here we got more of a Florida esque. Hold on a second. Alexa. Alexa. Shh. Should be talking out of turn. I'm recording, Alexa. You know better than that. We had more like a somebody was like, "Is this how Christmas is in South Carolina?" I looked at the tip. I'm like, "Yeah, 58, 60. Yeah, yeah."
Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and wrap it up, but I do want to say, just to go on the record of saying, we have got to get together one of these days, in the near future, and actually sit down together and do one of our recordings. I think that would be amazing.
I'm about it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, just let me know when you're back on this side, and we'll go ahead and get everything rolling, and we'll figure out something. Because I think
I got you.
this is definitely gonna make us enjoy it more.
Yep. They're gonna be like, "Damn, he doing a podcast with her too." I'm out there, man, with everybody.
I mean, that's how it is. Like, sometimes you gotta go for it, just wing it.
Yeah. Like I say, JFD, just effing do it.
That's it. I'm
That's it.
thinking, you know what? I'm not gonna change the podcast name, but we're gonna go ahead and put that in parentheses.
Yeah. JFD, just effing do it.
That's it.
That be hey, that be the name of the episode, the just effing do it episode. See,
That's
that's how you
it.
do it. That's
I think that's what we're gonna call the episodes when you're on.
yeah. That damn Eddie on boy, he gonna start cussing. You don't like cussing, but he had to emphasize that. So I'm a
Feel
hush. I know
like
you got
this.
things
This
to
is
ask you.
like you
Yeah,
said. It's porch perspectives. Being on the porch. This is the stuff that we used to do. We talked about any and everything. We discussed stuff. We learned things. We grew, and that's what we're doing. So at the end of the day, if that's what we got to do, then that's what we got to do.
that's it. That's all there is to it.
All
That's
right,
all
honey
to it.
bun. You have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and you have a great one. And we will look forward to speaking with you next time we're on. Okay.
It's been a pleasure. You take care, and all y'all come back to the porch. Come back to the porch where it
There
all
it
started. You take
is.
care.
All right. We'll catch up with you later.
All right, you again.
All right. You too.